today's Wednesday. Just saw on Twitter that they have decided to arrest and charge the other police that everyone is very angry about. And it's amazing how long that took. It's almost as if civil unrest actually accomplished something. So this month, it's been like 3 days. So this past few weeks, I dread to say the word art block because I don't really want to validate that, because people see art block as something that is more powerful than they are, and I have been personally blocking myself. A lot of it is just with everything that's happening, and I've been trying to keep my art separate from myself instead of using it. And so I've been unable to make anything. I've just been sitting down at my desk and not really making anything or planning anything or doing anything of value. I've been getting really distracted, especially the last few days. Like, I'm constantly just like looking at Twitter now. I find that being stuck at home hasn't really been working for me, since doing the weekly market was my thing that I was doing. That was my attempt to get out in the world and actually try something, to actually do the work. Because community involvement, I think, is such a big thing that I've been ignoring for so long, and a lot of people ignore. Making art and selling it online, shipping, all that stuff is really, really easy for me. The commission stuff is really, really hard for me because of the anxiety of not being able to really gauge tone, not really sure if this person likes this or doesn't like this. And a lot of people who ask me for commissions are not familiar with my work, so I can't just tell myself that, oh, if they didn't like what I do, they wouldn't ask me. Our city put out a call for artists to collect names for future projects, and all they needed was examples of your work, a little letter about your experience with public art. So I did send an email on my own behalf for public art, although I did write that I didn't have any public art experience, and I don't know if watercolor paintings are actually translatable. I know that a lot of commercial art and stuff like that is all digital, so that you can vectorize it, expand it to fit buildings and things like that. But I was able to send it anyway, because the worst that can happen when you apply to stuff is that they just won't talk to you. They won't call you back. And honestly, that is not bad. It's really easy to get no response. Every time I want to work with another person, that fear comes back, where I'm just I worry that I'm going to end up in a room for public art consultation and I will have no idea what's going on, and they'll be like, well, what are you doing here? That's the biggest fear, I think. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if anything will come of that, but it means something to me personally to make that attempt. It costs me nothing, and honestly it wasn't really that hard, so just do things. It's because the other people involved will know and will be able to lead the conversation, so to speak. Another thing that I struggle with in art is not knowing whether or not I am reasonably rejecting an opportunity or if I'm sabotaging myself. A few days ago, someone contacted me online about a commission, and I was just oh no, not a stranger who doesn't know my work but wants a commission. Usually what happens is I send the only example that I have, because I don't have very many, and I'm going to work on that, with the price of that particular example. And most of the time they will just ghost me, which is fine. But this person asked if I could do a nude drawing. And I was like so conflicted because I did drawing in college. I have drawn nude models in very unflattering poses, and it's really not that weird. So, but it also just felt like a different situation. Like, nude models in classes, they don't keep the drawings. They don't really look at the drawings. They don't judge the drawings. They don't pay for the drawings. They aren't really involved so much as they just offer, you know, an image to draw. And like not being able to know whether or not like this is a person who just really likes the way they look and wants to picture themselves, or if this is a person who just gets off from the idea of a woman staring at their naked picture for 3 hours. Like, the chances of that are kind of 50-50. So I'm like, I didn't really understand, would I be okay with getting paid even if it's a weird thing? And the fact that I didn't have anything to pin my actual discomfort on, like a tangible thing, because I didn't want them to feel shamed for asking if they were like genuine. So I couldn't just say, I can't do this because of blah. I don't know. I also just was really conflicted because I didn't know if I was in the position to be able to turn down something just because I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't know if I was passing on the commission because I felt uncomfortable with the commission, or if I felt uncomfortable with the idea of drawing a man's naked body and then trying to extract payment from them and continuing this paid relationship even long enough to do that. So I'm just like, So that's something that I was struggling with. I didn't know if I'm just sabotaging myself, or if that's something that not many people would want to do, because I feel like a lot of people would do. Let me know if you think that I did the right thing, or if I'm just sabotaging myself there. Meanwhile, so in order to get through this block, I think I mentioned it before, but I was doing the frantic timed sketches, and so what I ended up doing is I cut all the ones out that I kind of liked and stuck them in this black sketchbook, because look how snappy they look on with the contrast and everything. It's really nice. And what I was doing, I've been just sitting down and doing stuff. Anything. It's getting the clutter out of my head here. Whoops. I don't know if YouTube will allow that. I was just drawing out all of my various frustrations that I was thinking. Like, everything that was happening was triggering all sorts of like other small annoyances that we deal with in daily life. And I was also just doing landscapes, so I ended up doing a Minecraft biome because I was listening to Minecraft music to relax, like to calm myself down. And I did my favorite biome and then added random stuff, and then I realized that that mesa biome is very similar to a trip I took when I was younger, 1991, so I would have been 6, I guess. Man, when's the last time you've seen one of these, huh? These photos are so small. What is this, a 3x5? But anyway, their biomes look just like real life. And it made me think, because I've been really wanting to do some kind of big piece, and I think landscapes kind of really work well for large pieces. And so I'm going to practice doing some of these scenes. Look at all the colors. But I was going to do it sort of like more fantastic, more personal, not really that lifelike. And so that's what I've been kind of working on. I've been trying to combine real life things, but trying to work with the sort of whimsical structures that Minecraft generates. I don't know if that's like too derivative, but I was just trying to make up stuff that I could do for this, and then I might do a few more realistic studies first while the paper is stretching, because that takes time. I think I could use it immediately, but I'm not ready. Things like using a giant piece of paper for a painting is kind of high pressure, and I never want to like waste it, you know, so it's like, ugh. So yeah, I will probably do something similar to this, but different. That feeling when you lose a video game? How is this even possible, Maggie? I don't even know where to start. It's a mini disc. You can't just leave it lying around. It would break. What did I do? Oh, it's in the GameCube. I forgot I had one. Can I not play this on the Wii? Why was I playing it on the GameCube? What am I doing? What is this life? So here's the painting that I'm going to cannibalize for the watercolor painting. I'm not used to working, like I feel like a lot of the paintings that I do are more square. Rectangle but square. This is a dumb painting. I did this, what is this? Oil? Is this oil or acrylic? I don't know. They made us in school make little tiny objects, and I don't know what the heck this was. Some kind of box that I pinned beads to, I don't know. And we were supposed to then paint that object as a still life, and so I put it on this weird world with a city through these holes, but it's square, and in a round hole it's supposed to like express in the inability to fit in, you know. It's a silly painting, and this is what happens when you like move twice when you're an artist, is it rubs off on other oil paintings, and then the oil paint gets on things and ruins it. And look at the oil eating through the canvas. You know, they say that some old, really old paintings barely even exist anymore. Like the canvas is just gone. It's just all oil. So I'm just gonna cut around here and I don't know, tuck this thing away somewhere. What? Oh, there is something there. I wonder what it is. A hole? A staple? Nice. Nice. And that's how you do it. Just trying to figure out which side is the right side before I stretch it. Imagine stretching it and then realizing you have it on backwards. Yeah, some papers don't have, like, it doesn't matter, but my papers it does. Like this side, I painted it. This side, I painted it with some blue and it looks kind of nice. And then the other side, I painted it with some purple and it looks splotchy and strange. So I guess this is the front. I used to be able to tell by the direction of the texture, but I'm not so good at that anymore. So just leave it in the bathtub for 3 or so minutes, and then I got my stuff ready. Yep, I gotta wait.